computer science. Even when I used to start the laptop, my hands were shaking. So this was the fear I have for the laptops. So the most important thing I think is your friend circle. The friends that you chose during your first semester. Very from a city where you were a good student, like a topper student. Not I will say a topper, but a good student. Then you have a competitive feeling. Like yeah, why I am not able to do that? So that competitive feeling pushed me to do the coding but in the third year actually Amazon came visited our campus, and I was not able to crack even the first round. Unfortunately Amazon had come, but they have not announced the result. So even I have given the online round, but the result were not announced, and यहाँ पे फिर कट गया मेरा वो Amazon वाला. तो अब फिर से मैं बट अभी भी ये था कि यार Amazon तो लेना है, मतलब I have to crack the Amazon. I had the dream even from the first year. I had a dream for getting into the Amazon.
Hi everyone, तो आज की वीडियो में हमारे साथ होने वाले हैं एक बहुत ही स्पेशल गेस्ट विदाउट एनी background of programming, how these 4 years of college life changed him, and he's able to grab 3 off-campus amazing opportunities in Amazon, in Intuit, and in D.E Shaw. So we'll talk about his journey. I'm talking about Piyush Rai. He's currently a final year undergraduate at NIT Jamshedpur, and he has grabbed 3 amazing placements. We'll talk about his love for Amazon, how Amazon rejected him when it came on campus during his internship time, and how he finally landed up to Amazon. Like it was his ultimate love that he defined in the interaction. Also, apart from Amazon, while doing his internship at Amazon, he was able to crack companies like D.E Shaw, like Intuit, and he has been amazing at competitive programming. We'll discuss his complete journey, how he started with competitive programming in his very first year, then he left it, then he again resumed it when it was coming to programming, when it was coming to placements. So it is going to be really amazing and motivating for anybody who is looking forward to crack such companies, who is looking forward to move into such tech roles. So do stay tuned with me till the end of this video, and there is a like button in the bottom. Do press that like button and share it with your friends. Do subscribe the channel for amazing content coming ahead. So let's see this amazing conversation between me and Piyush. Thank you so much, Piyush, for accepting the invitation and coming here to discuss your journey. Hi everyone, today we have with us Piyush Rai. He's from NIT Jamshedpur, and he has recently cracked off-campus offers from companies like D.E Shaw, Amazon, and Intuit. So we'll talk about the entire process of these companies, what was the recruitment process, how he got to know about these opportunities, and the things he prepared for cracking such amazing offers. All these offers are above 25 lakhs per annum. So we'll discuss with Piyush, but before that, just let's have a brief introduction of Piyush.
Yeah, sure. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Harsh, I will try to give as much as possible from myself, as much as I can share my knowledge and learnings and experiences. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you can briefly tell about you, your college life, how has been your college life at NIT Jamshedpur, and like anything in general?
Yeah, sure. So basically, as I had no prior experience in computer science, when I was in class 12, I had opted for the Hindi. So I had no prior experience in computer science. Even when I used to start the laptop, my hands were shaking. So this was the fear I have for the laptops. So, but my brother insisted me to choose this branch. So I had choose that. Then so the journey begins when I was in first semester. So basically, the most important thing I think is your friend circle. The friends that you chose during your first semester, very important to you. If you want to get a criticism, you will learn how to get the criticism. You have to be open-minded. So basically the learning start even from the first semester. So when I entered the college, I had no prior knowledge. I had no prior background in CSC. So but luckily I got the friends who have a lot of good knowledge they had already know the Java, the C++, all the languages that they were knowing. So it helped me. So they started doing the coding on several platforms like CodeSafe. So they were also pushing me to do some coding. But I started and I failed. Basically, I was so much frustrated that I could not even solve one question or 2 questions. They were solving like 4 questions even in the first semester. So it was very amazing. But since you know that when you come from a city where you were a good student, like a topper student, not I will say a topper, but a good student, then you have a competitive feeling. like yeah, why I am not able to do that. So that competitive feeling pushed me to do the coding. So I also started even like late nights, like 2 hours, 4 hours, as much as much effort as I could give, I was giving, and now I was seeing the results. So I was able to solve, started from two star, then 3 star, then 4 star, and it goes on. So like that. So I finally stopped in the second year doing the my CP stuff. Like after in the second year, I switched to the code forces. There I do some for around 2 or 3 months. Then I stopped CP, and now I had focused on my development part. So even in the first year also, I was the part of the web team. There is a in NIT Jamshedpur we have a web team where you manage the institute website, and for managing that you will be paid like a good amount you are getting. Even in the first year, I think I got around 10K around that. So even
Okay.
you are in the first year, you are getting this thing. So NIT Jamshed is providing this opportunity to us. Like even you are a fresher and you are working on a live website, you are knowing about the server, how the server works, how the front end side works. So this opportunity is given by our institute. So after this, I was more interested in the development. I was more focused like how these things actually work. Like I am not saying that CP is not everyone's cup of tea, to be fair. Like for the CP you have to give a lot of effort, and you have to be like, if you are feeling like you will be feeling like attracted toward the CP, then you should pursue it. But you are just doing it by seeing others, by just for the competition. It is competitive, it is just for the fun. But I suppose that for the placement thing, only the CP is not needed. You also need the overall development part also. So even the companies that I have cracked, they, I think except for the Amazon, everyone has asked me about the core subjects. So and the development part is necessary. I think I will talk about my resume also, but I'm not going that part. So in the third year, then also I since it is a time for the internship, so everyone start preparing from the lead code and GFG. So now from the development, I switched to the GFG and the lead code. So I started doing that. And in the third year, actually Amazon came visited our campus, and I was not able to crack even the first round because I have left the CP in the second year. So now I understand. I understood that what is the importance of the CP. Why I should not have left it totally. I should have continued it. So this was the major mistake that I did that time. So I suggest everyone that please never neglect the CP part, because for the online assessment you still need that. So after Amazon, I was not able to crack even the first round. I was like very much sad, you can say disappointed also. Then the next company I think in our college for the internship came was by Hatke. So there luckily I got selected and done the internship. But uh, when it's time to get the onboarded, they revoked my offer because of the money. They were saying that no, we will not be able to give you the offer. Even they did not give me the particular reason. So this happens actually. So basically, like even before you get this, you should not, everything happens for a good reason. So don't get demotivated. So I am now thankful that actually it happens for a good that I was not selected at that time. I was, even because I do the internship, I will do at that time. If I had done the internship and got the offer, then the things will be different. I will not, I had not pushed myself to do the CP again and then to the core parts. So I think everything happens for good. So now after that disappointing thing, then placement in the final year, placement for the placements, mm, mainly the big companies that were coming, like Amazon, Lowe's India, and Tekion and Commvault. So these were the in the first phase these companies have to visit. But unfortunately Amazon had come, but they had not announced the result. So even I have given the online round, but the results were not announced, and I was selected in the Techion and the Commvault. These are the two companies I think you have heard. So I
Yeah.
was selected there, and now I was not able to sit in the further placement rounds. So I was now I since these both the companies are in a super dream slot, like they offer 15 plus. So I was not allowed to sit in any other placements. So यहाँ पे फिर कट गया मेरा वो Amazon वाला. तो अब फिर से मैं बट अभी भी ये था कि यार अमेजोन तो लेना है, मतलब आई हैव टू क्रैक द अमेजोन. आई हैड द ड्रीम इवन फ्रॉम द फर्स्ट ईयर. आई हैड अ ड्रीम फॉर गेटिंग इनटू द अमेजोन. So uh, during in the I think in the November, Amazon had the job opening for the internships. So I luckily found that job ID and asked for the referral. And in Amazon, you have a lot of people are there. So if anyone feeling like he's from tier two, tier three, any college doesn't matter for the Amazon. I think especially because in Amazon, you a lot of people are there who will give you the referral. You just have to, the best way to going into any company is, I think that your resume is the one important thing, and other thing is your referral. I personally believe that referral is a very important role. It plays a very important role in getting the any online assessment link. So I got the online assessment link from the Amazon, and finally I got luckily I got the interview and I cracked that. So from there, and then in the, since Amazon was, it was an internship offer, so I then started applying for the full-time offers in D.E Shaw and Intuit. Even with the Intuit, there was incident that I had applied in October in 2020, and I got reply in March 2021. So it suggests that you should keep applying. They have your resume in their database. So whenever there will be opportunity, they will contact you. So this is all about my college journey.
Amazing, amazing. It was a lot of things like together, starting from CP, then leaving CP, moving to web development, then again sitting for online coding rounds, again moving to CP. So it was really amazing and motivational for anybody who would be listening. So coming upon to some of the questions that are generally asked, like when we talk about on-campus process of a particular company and an off-campus process of a particular company, so you have faced both, right? You sat for Commvault, you sat for Tekion, for other companies
Yeah.
on campus, and you also face the off-campus process. So you would be in
Yeah.
a very good position to answer like what's the difficulty level, or I would say what's the selection rate when we talk about on-campus or off-campus.
So personally, I feel that both the on-campus and on-campus, off-campus require the same type of skill. Skill difference, there is nothing in the. If I talk about the skill or the learning or the experience, there will be no difference. Only difference is that the resume selection. That whenever there is a on-campus, your chances of getting resume to be selected and getting shortlisted and getting the online assessment link is more. When you are applying for the off-campus, I have already said that apart from your resume, you need a referral. If these two things are, then you are more likely to get the online assessment. So after getting the online assessment, it all depends on your skill. It's all depend on your what you have, how much you have put the effort in your DS and algo part, how much you have you solve the problems on the lead code GFG. It all depends upon that, and I believe that both are the same thing after the resume and online assessment link. And I have already
Amazing.
told the hack, you can apply with the help of a referral. So almost the balance will be there.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the different companies that you have cracked off campus. Like you already mentioned about Amazon. Like you applied in the month of November through referral, and you got the test link. You gave that assessment, and then the interview rounds. So some more light on the online test for Amazon and the interview processes. Like what were some of the important things? Like what do Amazon generally focus on when they take
Yeah.
interviews or when they are asking something in the coding test? And what was the difficulty level of the coding test and the interviews of Amazon?
Yeah, sure. So I had already told that in my first, after second year, I stopped the CP. So this was my
Yeah.
great mistake. I should not have done that. So after not getting selected in the third year, I realized my mistake and started doing the CP again. Parallelly, I was doing the development also, but more focus was on again on DSLGO and CP. So after in the when in the November, after getting the online assessment link and after clearing it, the first thing which I did was I started looking for the interview experiences of the Amazon. I think one important thing is you should look always whenever you are applying for a company, you should always go through its interview experiences. It helps a lot. I feel in every company I have gone through the interview experiences, and at least one or two questions were same. So in the case of Amazon, I think I had given the two rounds, interview rounds, and both were the elimination rounds. In the first round, they had asked two questions. So basically, when you are talking about a fintech company and a company like a product companies like the Amazon, there difference is that fintech company do not focus on only on a DSL and algo. Not that they also focus on a core, like your basic knowledge about your OOPS, about your language like C++. So everything will be considered there apart from your DS and algo. But when you're talking about Amazon, Microsoft, I think they focus more about on your coding problem. Like if you have solved the coding problems, you are more likely to get the next round or you will get the offer. So this so I was knowing about this, that I have to, in anyhow I have to solve the problem, otherwise I'm not going to the next round. So they had given me two questions. One was, I think the first question was in my opinion it was difficult. It was like code forces C or D, and the second was easy, relatively easy to the first one, and it was on BFS actually. So you have to be prepared with the graph all if you are applying for the Amazon. A graph and tree are the most important data structure, I think, if you are applying for a Amazon. And in the second round, again, question was on tree, and one was on the implementation based. So these were the two rounds, and finally I got the offer in 1 week. And the tips which I want to give is like, you have to more prepared on, you can, for the Amazon there are a lot of interview experiences are there, and I am sure that one or two questions will repeat. This I am sure about the Amazon.
Okay, amazing. So now coming upon to, like, you got an software engineering intern at Amazon for 6 months starting from January, right? And then you side by side started applying for full-time roles. Like you applied for
Yeah,
D Shaw, you applied for Intuit. So we talk particularly about D Shaw. So D Shaw, you have a role of member of technical staff, if I'm not wrong.
yeah, yeah.
So okay, so how did you get to know about this particular opportunity, and when did you apply? What were the online tests for D Shaw, and the interview processes further? Like how many rounds, and what were some of the important things? Like D Shaw is a fintech company, and so from that point of view, what did D Shaw asked and
Yeah, yeah, sure. So basically, I started once I joined the Amazon. So I started looking for a full time role, and luckily I visited their career website every morning. Like when you one important thing is like when you are good doing something, do it dedicatedly, do it sincerely. Yeah, matlab, you should always. I always open their career site in the morning, and I looked at because I already know that during the February and this March period, a lot of companies open their for the full time roles. Their openings are there for the full time. So I started looking every morning from the February. I think from the first February, I started looking the D.E Shaw career site, Intuit career site, and other a lot of other companies like Public Sapient, a small company. I am not saying that I am not looking for a small companies. I've looked for the startups. I've looked for the big companies, fintech companies. Everyone, everywhere I was looking, and luckily I got the. I one day I got this news that they had opened for this member technical position. That is the software developer. They have actually written slash software developer. I was not aware at that time about what this member technical is. So I had just applied their career website. So D Shaw, one important one most the things which I like about a D Shaw is that they will give you the test link. Definitely, if you had applied, I think all my friends who have applied at that time, they had got a test link. So this is the good thing, that they will give you the test link. And if you are off campus, and if you are applying off campus, and you are irrespective of any college, any tier you are, you will get the test link. And this is the one of the most important thing. After this, it's all depend upon you. It does not depend upon the luck or anything. It's all depend upon you, how you perform. So in the online assessment, I got three coding questions, but in all the three coding questions, there was a time limit. Like the first question, I have 20 minutes, second question 20 minutes, and the third one around 40 minutes. And the third one was really difficult, I will say. Like I think I had just partially passed it. Like I think about partial 10 out of 9 or something test cases I had passed. So and then there will be some D Shaw is different from other fintech company. Is like from Goldman Sachs. If I have to compare, then I will say that they not do not ask aptitude that much, like that much level, like as Goldman Sachs asks. So they focus more on your core, like networking questions were there, and the questions from the your operating systems, and there were more questions on DS and Algo. So their MCQ are very much different than the Goldman Sachs MCQs. In Goldman Sachs MCQ, you will generally find aptitude, and aptitude are of good level actually. They are out of cat level. So you find that thing. This is the difference between the D.E Shaw and the Goldman Sachs actually. And so after clearing, so after 1 week I got the news that I have cleared this round, and then again there is a screening round. So screening round is basically not your like online round. You have a interviewer. I think the platform was Code Pair. So there will be an interviewer. He will ask you some questions regarding your your SQL and database. They had already told me that what were the topics I have to cover, like the database. They more focused on database and the SQL, and on the OOPS and the OS. And so I have already told that they do not focus more on your DS and Algo. I think, in my opinion, maybe the interview process may be the different for other people, but in my case, the more focus was on OOPS and DS, not on the DS Algo. So they had asked only one DSLO question, which was, I think, which was easy, very easy. And other questions were like on the MySQL. It was very general question. I think everyone solved that type of questions, like what is the nth highest, kth highest. So this type of question they had asked for the from the MySQL. And so this was all about my screening round. After clearing this screening round, I had to go through two interviews. Like they call it on site, but since it is a remote, so you have to give it on a Code Pair platform. So again, and so one good thing and one bad thing about the Code Pair is you will not get a whiteboard to explain or a white paper to explain that thing. So it is very difficult when you are giving a remote interview, that you have to in लाइक आपको समझा नहीं पाते यार, आप फील नहीं कर पाते वो चीज़ कि कैसे समझाना है। तो वो वाली फील नहीं आ पा रही थी कि मैं समझा नहीं पा रहा हूँ, मुझे भी फील नहीं आ रही थी कि मैं समझा पा रहा हूँ। बट वही होता है कि आप अगर कोड सारे टेस्ट केसेस आपने रन कर दिया तो इट्स ऑल गुड। सो आई हैव रिटन द कोड and they had asked me around two DS Algo questions. There was a panel actually. Two interviews were there. So they asked me, each interviewer asked me one DSLO question, and after I solved that DSLO question, they started asking about the core subjects like the OOPS and the operating system, all these stuffs, and I think MySQL also. And then they asked about my projects. One important thing is about the project is in my scenario, since I had already done a lot of I had a industry experience, a lot of industry experience from my previous internship. So they only asked about my internships, like what projects I had made, what are the how I had handled the situations, what are the difficulties I had faced. So they only asked about my internship projects, not going on my college projects. So this is the important. This is basically, it gives benefit to you that they are not going on your college projects. So after this round, then the second round was after clearing this round. Then there was a second round, and in that also they had asked only one DSLGO question and same OOPS questions and operating system, like basic questions on the core subjects in computer science. So this is all about D.E Shaw.
Amazing. So the process consisted of one coding test that included MCQs as well as coding questions. Then there was screening. Then two separate interview rounds were headed for D.E Shaw. Perfect. So now coming up on to Intuit, like I have heard of Intuit as a company, जिसका work culture बहुत अच्छा है, and like people generally like work culture and very good company. So and like when did you apply for Intuit? When did you get the reply? Like what were the different rounds in Intuit? So we'd like to know more about this Intuit's off-campus process.
Yeah, I have already told that I had applied for the Intuit in October in 2020, and since they had my resume in their database, so they contacted me in March, and they were saying that asking am I available for the full time role or not? Like since at that time I have not heard from the D.E Shaw about my result. So I had said yes to them, and I got the online assessment link, and I think there were 4 questions in the online assessment link, and in 4 questions I have 2 hours around, and I have solved all of them. The platform was Hacker Earth. So questions were like both the lead code medium, hard, and you can say one was like code forces D type. So this is about the Intuit online assessment round, and I think what other companies I have cracked Intuit round interview rounds were relatively easy. I will say this like easy in the sense that they are not asking more about your DSLGO part. That the questions are very open ended. Like you are on a mountain, you do not have our mobile network. You how will you get the OTP? This type of like a very open ended questions. You do not have any particular solution to it. You will just have to go deep dive and get out some solutions. No, it doesn't matter it is optimized or not. So Intuit interview was little bit different than all the other previous interviews. So first round was very open-ended questions were there, and in the second round also main focus was like how you will do the testing, like a very software engineer stuff. Like generally this type of question interviewer do not ask like how will you get to know what the error is, where the error is. These types of questions were asked, and of course one coding problem was there. It was lead code medium, I think, and yeah. So I think interview was relatively easy to other interviews that I have tried.
Okay. So we have already talked about your preparation strategy. How did you prepare for these particular companies? So when I talk about certain important resources for someone who is currently in his first year or second year, what resources should he follow so as to get a hold over competitive programming or get a hold over his DSLGO skills that are important for companies? So if you would like to suggest certain resources.
Yeah. So I have already like I will say that in the first year you should focus on your CP. In the first year when you are in the first year you should there are a lot of platforms are there. At my time, I think CodeSef and CodeForces were at their prime. So I had done competitive programming at CodeSef mainly, and then I switched to the CodeForces. So for if you want to do the CP for the online assessment, then you should. I will prefer personally CodeForces. I like more because there is a variety of questions there. Like in CodeSef, I will not say that a variety is not there, but sometimes questions are just pattern. Like you have to, if you got the pattern, then you will solve it. But in CodeForces, like all the four D, E, all the questions are very different. Like some dynamic programming, some graph. So in the and then in the graph some DP. So it is very different taste if you do the on CodeForces. Then if for the CP these two platforms, and if you have to do for the placements, since companies whatever the you done the CP doesn't matter when it comes to the companies. They will ask from the GFG and the lead code. You should remember this. This is a universal truth for now, at least for now. So you should remember this that you have to do the practice on the lead code and GFG, and because I have seen a lot of my good friends who are very good at the CP, but they were not able to crack the company's interview because they want the answer what is given on the GFG. So they were not convinced. Actually, they were giving the answer, but they are not convinced. Like no, I am not able to understand that. This type of things happen. So I will say that you should go on GFG. What type the companies that you have applied, go through its interview experiences, and in GFG you can filter out like for the Amazon I have particularly solved their 800 of 900 questions. So you can try to solve them on lead code. The same thing according to the companies, there are question are filtered out. And lead code discuss is very important. Like at lead code discuss tab, you can see a lot of, for the same question we will see a variety of solutions. So it helps a lot. So yeah, that's the resources I will tell. And for the system design, like low level designs, you can prefer the like that cracking coding interview. There are a lot of like object oriented design questions are there, you can solve them.
So, like, was system design a part of the interview processes at any point of time?
Sorry.
Was system design a part of the interviews at any point of time? Like, in which all
Yeah.
interviews were you asked questions from system design?
Yeah, so it was in the D.E Shaw. Like they had asked one low-level design. Basically, a design pattern was there. Uh, so that was the time, like when I had got to know about how I have to tackle the system design questions. I was not prepared actually. Like I was doing internship at Amazon, so I did not get that much time to be prepared with all these things. But I had already, since I had done already my internships, so it.
Okay. So, like you have a lot of experience applying to off-campus opportunities. So, one important thing that comes into picture is the resume. कि resume में क्या होना चाहिए, क्या नहीं डालना चाहिए, कैसा resume होना चाहिए for off-campus so that it is shortlisted, or when we are sending a resume to somebody for referral. So, what all things are important in resume so that it can get through the initial screening process?
Yeah. So basically, first of all, resume, don't treat this resume as a single piece of paper. Like, and like the old dialogue is like a single piece of paper cannot decide your future, but it will decide. Like it will decide actually. It will change your everything. It will change your CTC from 10 to 30. It can change. It can change your whole lifestyle, whole living standard. It can change. So don't treat it like a piece of paper. Give it around. If you are preparing a resume, don't think that I will just prepare it before the placement session start. You should start preparing the resume. You should start preparing and keep updating it. So you should, at the time when the time comes when you have to submit your resume, you have a better resume. So the sections which I want to focus is like two major sections which are part of my resume. Is one is the your experience part. Like I have done a lot of internships, including from my first semester, like from my first year to the final year, like around 4 or 5 internships I have done. So one whole part is my just on the internship experiences, and the other part is basically your achievements. You have to highlight your achievements, that what you have got. Like if you are like you have cracked to the ACM ICPC regionals or a world finalist, everything that you have got, like GSOC and hackathons you have won. So everything you should mention on that resume. And apart from that, college projects are important, but as I have already told, in my case, no of the interviewer had ever asked about my college project. They just asked about my internship experience projects that I have made. So this was a difference. So if you have the internships, it is great. If you do not have, then fill it with your college projects. And if you talk about the achievement section, please, I request that please make it very clear, like what you have achieved. Like if you are winning a hackathon, just mention that what you have made at that hackathon, so that even you have not got any rank. Like even one of my friend has not got any rank in SIH, but he had mentioned that how he was able to what he has created and how it is beneficial. So these are the important things, like the achievement section, in experience section, college project section, and your skill section. Basically, you have to update it actually according to the job description. So I used to update it according to the job description.
Amazing, amazing. So this is something that people were mainly thinking of कि यार resume कैसे बनाना है. तो hopefully बहुत सारे लोगों के doubts clear हो गए होंगे. Next is coming about like nowadays I have been getting this question from a lot of people, like I have an offer between Amazon and Flipkart, what to choose. I have an offer between D.E Shaw and Goldman Sachs, what to choose. I have an offer between this and this, what to choose. So this becomes an important part, like which all factors will you consider or should be considered while choosing between different offers if you have multiple offers. So I would like to have an opinion on to what like what's your perspective on this.
Yeah. So first one is the offer. What is the offer? Like if the one is giving you 10 LPA, another is giving you 30 LPA. So if there is a large difference, I'm not saying
Yeah.
like 2 lakh, 3 lakh difference. It doesn't matter. But if there is a large difference, like one is giving 10 and just other is giving the double one. So if there is a difference, then this is one factor. Other factor is like how is the work culture. It is very important, like how is your work culture, what type of projects you are getting. Even if you get in a company where you are getting a very high salary for the fresher, but when you are but after 1 year or 2 year, you are seeing that there is no growth in your career. You are still getting that much salary, and your friends who had already worked in a 10 lakh 10 lakh LPA company, he's now at Google and something like Facebook London. So this is the difference, main difference. Like work culture important, and your growth is important. Like you should see that is there any growth or not. And the third one is your interest. I think interest I have kept it the third point, because uh, as I like, even I do not have any background in the CS, but as I, even if you do not try, then how you will know that there is interest or not?
Yeah.
So I had just 3 points in my mind for now.
Okay, great, great, great. So, coming upon to the one final piece of advice for somebody who is preparing for such interviews or who is aiming at applying off campus because companies don't visit their college. So, what is the final piece of advice that you would like to give to people?
So if you are from the from a college tier, it doesn't matter for me. I don't think it is a barrier for anyone to get placed in a big companies, particularly if you talk about the FANG. And the advice which I will give it, please treat your resume not as a piece of paper only. Make it as much possible, like even if let's suppose you just replace you with your with the HR and think like they have only 2 minutes or 5 minutes, 2 minutes, I think hardly 2 minutes, they have only 30 seconds. They just go through, and what are the things that will just pop out from that resume. So you should focus on your resume, so that in the 30 second, the important things should be reflected to the HR. And the other one is like the you should like on the LinkedIn you should be active actually, like us always. I had seen his LinkedIn post always about post about the job opportunities. So it is very important. Like I want to especially thank us for posting their job opportunities. Like you are doing a great work, yeah. Like for the off campus, who is searching for the off campus, I think you should at least follow his channel, or you should follow him on LinkedIn at least. Because I personally feel that
Thank you.
many students from my college, like I think for the Flipkart or the Uber, they have applied because of us only. So I want, so this I want to say. And so yeah, you should keep your resume good, and follow the people who are posting the off-campus job opportunities. And uh, apart from this, skill is already, if you have the skill you will get it. There is no doubt on that point. I had all friends in from my private college who are saying that I had applied for 2 or 3 companies, and did not get from revert. They had not reverted back. So it is not the case, yeah. Like even we have to apply for more than 50 companies, then we get reply from 4 or 5 companies. So you should keep applying.
Amazing. So I hope this amazing interaction will give lots of insights to people who are looking forward to such roles, cracking off campus companies, and it was really such an amazing interaction. Like a lot of learning experiences that you mentioned would be very beneficial for people. Thank you so much, Piyush, once again for coming here and sharing your journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ars. Thank you for the great things you are doing.
I hope this experience of Piyush would help you grab certain opportunities at companies like Intuit, D.E Shaw and Amazon, and you have got some really good insights कि कैसे ये companies काम करती हैं and what you should do to prepare for these particular companies, like what is being asked in fintech companies, what is not being asked in fintech companies, what should you prepare from different point of views, like what is important for interviews, what is important for online tests, and how you should plan your competitive programming journey. I hope this was really inspirational. For more such amazing content and videos, do like, share and subscribe this video, and thank you so much. All the best. Good luck. Bye bye.